Warsaw, September 19th, 1940. German roundup. The word every Pole fears. Captain Witold Pilecki stands in the crowd. Polish cavalry officer, resistance leader. And he's doing something absolutely insane. Everyone else is trying to escape. Pilecki is walking toward the Germans. He has false papers. Tomasz Serafiński, factory worker. Nobody important. The Germans grab him, shove him into a truck. Pilecki doesn't resist, because this is exactly what he planned. He volunteered to be arrested, to be sent to the one place you never return from, Auschwitz. 3 days later, they tattoo 4859 on his arm, strip him, shave him, beat him. Pilecki endures it, because he's not here to survive. He's here to build a resistance network inside Auschwitz, to gather intelligence, to send reports to the outside world, and to organize an uprising from within hell itself. Everyone said it was suicide. His commanders begged him not to go. But Pilecki knew something the Allies didn't believe. Auschwitz wasn't just a prison camp. It was an extermination factory, so he walked in voluntarily. Inmate 4859, ready to spend 947 days in hell gathering evidence that would warn the world about the Holocaust. This is that story. Summer 1940. Poland has fallen. Germans control everything. Resistance cells operate in shadows, hunted and isolated, and they're facing a problem driving them insane. Auschwitz. Germans built it in May 1940. Former Polish army barracks. They said it was for political prisoners. Thousands of Poles are shipped there. Resistance fighters, intellectuals, priests. Then, nothing. Complete silence. Families wait for letters. No letters come. Red Cross asks questions. No answers. Underground tries to make contact. Nobody responds. It's like prisoners vanish into a black hole. Polish resistance has fragments, rumors, whispers from railway workers, but nothing solid. They know prisoners die. They don't know how. They know conditions are brutal. They don't know how brutal. General Stefan Rowecki, commander of Polish Home Army, is desperate. London demands intelligence. Allies won't believe atrocity reports without evidence. Infiltrating from outside? Impossible. Too isolated. Too well guarded. Anyone approaching gets shot. Which means there's only one way to get intelligence from inside Auschwitz. Someone has to go in as a prisoner. They discuss it. Quietly. Reluctantly. Because they know what it means. Auschwitz isn't a normal prison camp. It destroys men, starvation, disease, random executions, average survival, 6 months. Most don't last 3. Sending an agent in means sending him to die. But without intelligence, they're blind, can't plan rescues, can't warn the Allies. The question is, who volunteers for a suicide mission? And that's when Witold Pilecki says, I'll do it. September 1940. Pilecki's plan: let himself be captured, enter Auschwitz as a prisoner, build resistance from inside, send intelligence out. The commanders stare at him like he's lost his mind. It's suicide. You'll be dead in a month. How do you send reports when guards watch everything? Pilecki doesn't have all the answers. He just knows someone has to try. Witold Pilecki isn't a nobody. Decorated cavalry officer. Fought Soviets in 1920, led resistance against Germans and Soviets in 1939. He has a wife, 2 young children, a resistance network depending on him, and he's proposing to become prisoner 4859 in a death camp. Someone has to know what's happening in there. Nobody else is volunteering. General Rowecki knows Pilecki, knows when Pilecki says he'll do something, he means it. If you go in, you're on your own. We can't rescue you. If you get reports out, we'll get them to London. That's all I need. And if you're caught organizing, then I'll die without talking, but I won't die without trying. Rowecki extends his hand. God be with you, Witold. I'll see you after the war. Other commanders shake his hand. Some are crying, saying goodbye to a dead man. Pilecki walks into the night. 3 days to prepare. 3 days until he walks into hell voluntarily. Everyone thinks it's the stupidest, bravest, most pointless act of heroism they've ever witnessed. They're about to be spectacularly wrong. September 16th to 1940. 3 days to prepare. Pilecki burns his real identity papers. From now on, he's Tomasz Serafiński, factory worker, nobody important. Resistance forger creates the papers. Simple worker, no political connections, the kind Germans grab and forget. Pilecki memorizes every detail. Where Tomasz was born, where he worked. Under torture, he has to be Tomasz. One slip means execution. The communication system is delicate. Pilecki can't carry anything into Auschwitz. Germans strip prisoners, search everything. The plan: find prisoners being released, pass them verbal reports. They contact resistance cells. Those cells courier to Warsaw. It's fragile, but it's all they have. Start slow, Pilecki instructs. Observe first, survive, learn the camp, then build your network. Pilecki nods. In Auschwitz, survival and resistance might be mutually exclusive. September 18th, Pilecki's last night of freedom. He can't tell his wife where he's going, can't tell his children goodbye. He watches them sleep. Andrzej is 5, Zofia is 3. He memorizes their faces. Be careful, Marta says. Always, Pilecki lies. September 19th. Pilecki leaves, carrying nothing, just clothes and false papers. He positions himself on the target street. Then the trucks arrive. This is it. Pilecki takes a breath, steps into the open, and voluntarily becomes prisoner 4859. September 22, 1940. The gates of Auschwitz. SS guards attack immediately. Clubs, fists, boots, pure terror. Pilecki endures it, stays silent. They want you to believe resistance is impossible. He doesn't believe it. They tattoo 4859 on his arm. Strip him, shave him, no names, just numbers. First night, 200 men in spaces for 40. Disease everywhere. Men are dying, just from conditions. Pilecki observes everything. Guard routines, work details, gathering intelligence. Weeks pass. Pilecki starts making contact, finding other resistance members. First recruit, Lieutenant Colonel Sermaki. We need to organize, Pilecki whispers. Organize what? We're in hell. Exactly, which is why we resist. By December, 5 men. By March, 20. By summer, over 100. ZOW, the military organization union. They start small, stealing food, smuggling medicine, warning prisoners. But the real purpose is intelligence. Pilecki collects everything. Prisoner numbers, deaths, gas chambers, executions, SS names. Then the breakthrough. A prisoner is being released. Contact the resistance in Bielsko. Tell them 4859 sent you. November 1940. First report reaches Warsaw. Pilecki is alive, organizing. More reports follow, more detailed, more horrifying. Documenting genocide. By 1942, hundreds of members. But Pilecki knows he's on borrowed time. He's done everything he can from inside. Now he needs to get out, write a comprehensive report, which means escaping from Auschwitz. April 26, 1943, 947 days inside Auschwitz, but Gestapo is closing in. 2 network members interrogated, 1 broke, named names, it's now or never. Pilecki, Jan Redzai, Edward Szyszalski. Night shift, bakery construction near perimeter, guard rotation at 11 p.m., 15 minutes of reduced surveillance, that's their window, 10:58. Pilecki checks guard positions, roving patrol just passed. Pilecki signals, no room for mistakes. 11 p.m., shift change. Pilecki moves, into shadows, toward perimeter, the fence. Pilecki cuts through with stolen cutters, hands bleeding, through, all 3, into darkness beyond Auschwitz. They run. Fields, woods, dawn, 7 hours of running, exhausted, bleeding, but alive. Resistance safe house near Alwernia. 3 skeletal men. Witold Pilecki? Get us to Warsaw, immediately. August 1943. Warsaw. Pilecki writes for weeks. Witold's report. First comprehensive account of Auschwitz. 100 pages. Total prisoners, over 200,000. Deaths, 100,000 plus. Gas chambers operational since September 1941. Systematic extermination documented. Pilecki writes until his hands shake. Until every horror is documented. The report is smuggled to London. Finally, they start believing. Witold's report becomes the foundation of Allied intelligence on the Holocaust. First, detailed documentation, evidence that forces the world to acknowledge. One man, Inmate 4859, who volunteered for hell, organized resistance in the impossible, brought out the truth that changed history, but after surviving the Nazis, Pilecki would face an even more brutal enemy, and this time, no escape. May 1945. Nazis defeated. Auschwitz liberated. But for Poland, new occupation. Soviets control everything. Pilecki survives Warsaw uprising, survives German captivity, returns home, and watches Stalin's communists take over Poland. The man who volunteered for Auschwitz, who documented the Holocaust. He can't stop resisting tyranny. 1945 to 1947. Pilecki goes underground, gathering intelligence on Soviet atrocities. Communists hunt him. UB, Polish secret police, make Pilecki their top target. May 8, 1947. They find him, arrest him, drag him to Mokotów prison. Brutal interrogations, torture, sleep deprivation. They want him to confess. The man who survived 947 days in Auschwitz refuses to break. March 3, 1948. Show trial, fabricated evidence, death sentence. May 25, 1948. Execution chamber. Witold Pilecki stands straight, unbroken, one shot. They buried him in an unmarked grave, tried to erase his name. For 40 years, mentioning Pilecki was dangerous, but tyranny doesn't last forever. 1989. Communism falls. Historians uncover the truth. They find Witold's report, survivors who remember 4859. The world finally learns about the man who did the impossible. Today, Pilecki is recognized as one of World War II's greatest heroes. The real legacy isn't medals. It's the report, the evidence that forced the world to acknowledge the Holocaust. Witold Pilecki volunteered for Auschwitz when everyone said suicide, built resistance when everyone said impossible, documented the Holocaust when the world refused to believe, and fought tyranny until the end. Inmate 4859, the man who walked into hell on purpose and brought back the truth.